Friday, you know, and I kind of looked in, and I looked in this room, and I said, wow, we've come such a long way. We've come such a long way. Our first event was in Atlanta, and it was, you know, nobody knew if anybody would actually show up. You know? And we didn't actually know when we did show up, you know, if we would have microphones and stuff. True story, our first event, I wanted to do an event 3 months after we launched, which would have been January of 2012. That's when I wanted to do it. The merchant account shut us down, right? So we had to postpone doing the event. The second we got a new merchant and we went live, I planned on doing Atlanta with Dave Sharp. Now this is the true story of how we did that event, right? We said we're going to do an event, and we started selling tickets to somewhere, right? Some of you remember that? John, you remember that? Right? You remember that? We started selling tickets to Atlanta, right? And people started buying them like crazy. Now, when we were selling tickets to the Atlanta event, we did not have a place to go. It was the Atlanta event. We're going to do an event in Atlanta because Tracy Walker was there, and we hoped she could help us find a room. Right? So she introduced us to somebody who introduced us to somebody who we thought was an event planner, but really they planned parties for kids or something. And we'd sold 1,400 tickets. So a month before our event, I went to an event that was generic training with Eric Worre, right? Who was real impressed with what we're doing, right? And he introduced us to two people, Lisa and Curtis. And they just kind of like felt this obligation to come start helping us with stuff. So they said, you're doing an event? And we said, yeah. I said, who's planning it? And we're like, I don't know, some people in Atlanta. She's like, oh, maybe you should have like a real event planner just look at it and make sure. So then they introduced us to an event planner who flew into Atlanta 2 weeks before our event, and nothing had been done. We would have shown up with no chairs, microphones, or stage. Yeah. It would have been us screaming with everybody sitting on the ground. You know? If people think we're a cult now, you know. You know, but amazingly, things come together. Things do come together when you've got a dream and you just keep fighting for your dream. Things come together, even when stuff goes wrong. When I found out, I think Dave was mad and I burst into laughter was, I think, the two responses we had. We found out nothing had been done at all, you know what I mean? And we showed up, and here's what's amazing, okay? And this is what I want you guys to think about. There was less people at that event than there is at this one, right? That event, from what we did at that event, and it was the event that did it, changed Empower Network from a company that at the time was doing just over $1 million a month because we had recovered, you know what I mean? We had gotten shut down and we had recovered to about $1 million a month to 12 months later, $1 million a week. Today, like maybe 1.5, 1.8 million a week. Right? So, then this is my logic here, right? We've got Anaheim, and we've got this room, and we're better now. So, my prediction is that this room will be 12 months from now, doing at least 1.5 million a week in sales. And this room will be responsible, just the people here, not talking about the other regionals, this room will be responsible for packing 6,000 people in a room 12 months from now. We're not even looking up the language yet, you know what I mean? What can we do? What can we do? Who here actually thinks this is the best event we've done? Missing some of the pyrotechnics, you know what I'm saying? No superhero costumes, just He-Man in the video. But I thought the content was just the best we've done. Give the speakers a hand. Give the speakers a hand. you and what's next. Right? What's next for you? And I've been meeting with people all day. Some of them in my team, some of them are leaders in the room. And I only wish that I had more time. And I've been getting to see what really is making different people tick who are in power, right? People that are struggling, right? And guys, people struggle. Sometimes it can be frustrating, you know, when another one-armed, one-legged midget wearing a bikini crosses the stage making $50,000 a month. You know, like I've been in since the beginning, you know. You know what I mean? Somebody else gets on the stage and you're like, what did you do to succeed? And they're like, well, you know, I don't know. It's like I got started and it's like, you know, I really wanted to do it. And then I just started like putting videos up and I was writing articles like crazy. And I was making like $30,000 a month. Woo! And you're like, it's harder than that. You know, or you know, I got it. You know, the Justin Berengia story. You know what I mean? It's like, just drown me, Dave. Just drown me. Can I be baptized too? Or you see a person who got started at the same time as you crossing the stage. You know what I mean? And they have like their first $20,000 a month, and you're sitting there and you're like, what in the effing? Guys, there's always something you don't know. You know what I mean? There's always something you don't know. And one thing I'd be really careful about is comparing yourself to anybody. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, because you're not Lawrence Tam, you're not Justin Berengia, right? Because neither of them are here, so I know I can say that. Right? And you're not me. And I know that because I'm standing right here, talking. Right? As far as I can tell, there's only